Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I ask that you please turn off mobile phones for the duration of this afternoon's ceremony. Please stand and welcome our official party. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Carol Dawes and I am your Master of Ceremonies this afternoon. I ask you all to join in singing the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. Enjoy for strengths and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Graduates and guests, welcome to this graduation ceremony of CQUniversity, Australia. Please be seated. Now at CQUniversity, our graduation ceremonies are all about the celebration of achievement. So we'd love to hear you cheer out loud as your friend or family member crosses the stage today. You will notice that the university mace is located centre stage. The mace is a symbol of the authority of the Council of the University and signifies the university's responsibility to work for the sustenance of our present world and to ensure that future generations are not disadvantaged but are enriched by our efforts. Firstly, I'd like to welcome a number of special guests who join us today. Mr George Christensen, MP, Federal Member for Dawson, the Mayor of Mackay, Councillor Deidre Comerford, Councillor Chris Bonanno, and Mr Gary Mooney, Traditional Elder of the Uribara people. And I now invite Mr Gary Mooney to the stage to deliver the welcome to country.
Bungana Kirabiri. In our language that means good day. So on behalf of all Uribara people, I'd like to welcome you here to country. Also to this special day for this graduation ceremony. I wish you all the best and all the things that you've been doing, and excel further, because I believe it is very important to all of our people in this community and far and wide also. I hope that every year that we have a lot of these graduate programs in place so that we can make our country a greater country. I'd like to acknowledge all the people that set this up. Because this is my first time, so I believe it's great. I'd like to see more of it. I wish you all the best. And all the people that actually come here today to support you. I wish you all the best and all the things that you're going to be doing for the rest of your lives. Maybe you'll be up front and teaching all our younger ones right from wrong, and that's what I want to see. Yeah, the programs that you excel in, helping younger people to get up to where you are. So on behalf of all Uribara people, welcome to country.
Thank you, Gary. I now invite the Chancellor, Mr Rennie Fritchie, to deliver the address of welcome.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land we stand on today, the Uribara people and their elders past and present. A very warm welcome to all of you to this graduation ceremony here today in Mackay. A special welcome, of course, to our graduands, our graduating students. You've done a tremendous job getting to where you have got today, and you must be very excited about this celebration. I think I can remember when I was many years ago. So very warm congratulations to all of you from the whole of the university community, and well done. I'd also like to extend a special welcome to the parents, relatives, friends and supporters of our graduands here today. This is a very proud moment for all of you as well. And many of our graduating students here today are the first in family to graduate, and that's really quite special. And without you, the supporters and relatives, many of our graduands who are sitting down here in front of us today would not be there. So thank you for that. I'd also like to welcome, of course, our distinguished guests and the staff and council members of the university. Ladies and gentlemen, a number of years ago, the 150 odd graduands sitting in front of us today asked themselves a question: what were they going to do with the rest of their lives? How best could they prepare themselves for a career and productive endeavour going forward? And they chose education. And they've committed themselves to that from when they made that decision right through until today. And for many of them, it's been a very difficult journey. For some, it hasn't. And I remember when I went to university, I used to always be very unhappy about those ones who didn't find it tough. Who could just get through really easily, but that's not the majority. And these days, it's a lot more difficult because People come from longer distances. In fact, a number of our graduands here today have actually studied by distance, and that creates its own difficulties. A lot of them have come quite some distance from their homes to study here in Mackay. A number of them were not self-supporting unless they went out and got jobs for themselves, which a number of them have done, and a number of them in fact have multiple jobs. So as well as doing all that, they had to find their time to study and to overcome obstacles and get to where they are today. And I think that's the life of a student. I think there are difficulties to be overcome. There are successes to celebrate. Maybe some subjects have been missed one year and had to be repeated another year. So there are a series of ups and downs through their student lives, which that's part of life, isn't it? Ups and downs, overcoming obstacles, and here they are today. So I think that's wonderful. What lies before you now is both overwhelming and exciting. Getting out there in the world and making a contribution in the best way that you can do that. So as you walk out of this room as a graduate of our amazing university and join one of the most extraordinary fraternities of alumni, we have something like 50,000 alumni throughout the world, and those relationships between current new alumni and alumni who've been out there for quite some time can be very strong and very helpful. We have a number of distinguished alumni, as most universities have, and one example that I usually like to give is that of Auditor General. We have had 4 Auditor Generals in State or Commonwealth of Australia that have been graduates of our university. We also have a number of Vice-Chancellors of universities throughout Australia who got their initial degrees with us. Also recently, 2 days ago in fact, we were in Townsville, opening up a new campus up there, and one of the dignitaries who came along to celebrate with us and wish us well was a graduate of ours in 1995. He was a Member of Parliament, State Parliament. He got an arts degree with us, and now he's a Member of Parliament. Those sorts of examples are just everywhere. Our university motto is Doctrina Perpetua, and I think our new graduands would know that although today is a very, very important educational milestone, that there will be other milestones as you go forward. Statistics show that new graduates go through between 5 and 7 career changes in their working careers. So just think about that. Pretty scary, huh? You might need additional technical training, commercial training, managerial training for you to achieve your goals, and naturally we would be very, very pleased to see you back at some time in the future. Once again, I'd like to congratulate you on a great job, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. I call on the Vice-Chancellor and President, Professor Scott Bowman, to deliver the opening address.
Mr. Chancellor, to be honest, I'm a bit worried, Mr. Chancellor, that we're going to have a very good graduation today, because you need 4 things for a good graduation, and we haven't got any present at the moment. Thing 1 is you need smiling graduates, and this bunch are looking really worried. So start smiling. We need you to smile. We need a mobile telephone to go off. I haven't heard one mobile telephone to go off. We need a baby to cry, and I keep hearing promising sounds, and I think, this baby, get up, there's a baby. Can someone give that baby a really good pinch? Because we've had babies, they've been making some good noises, but I want them to develop into a real scream. We need that. And then the 4th thing we need for a really good graduation is for someone to walk over here and fall over. And I'm looking at some of the shoes out there, and I think we could be all right on that one, actually. But I put a bit of pressure on. There's probably someone right over in that corner. You're the last over the stage. If no one's fallen over, it's your duty. It's interesting, as we were coming in today, our guest speaker, we were talking about, well, what's the collective noun for a bunch of graduates? And of course, I've got some of the best academic brains in Australia in the room with us. So of course, it was quite easy, I thought, to find that out. And I asked them, what is the collective noun for graduates? After that, of course, I went to Google. I actually found there's two collective nouns for graduates. Anyone know them? Human beings. Okay, good one. Excellent. Yeah. Drama student. Actually, the two are, one is an unemployment of graduates. An unemployment of graduates. Now, hopefully that isn't the case here, because we know that our graduates actually do better than any other university in Australia at getting jobs. The other collective noun is a fortitude of graduates, and maybe the two are linked. Because I know when I qualified, and I qualified as a radiographer in medical imaging, I just couldn't get a job. I couldn't get a job for about 6 months, and I just went after every job, went for hundreds of interviews, and couldn't get a job. But you do have to have fortitude, and you just keep going and going and going. So if any of you are in that position where you haven't got a job yet, don't give up. Remember, the collective noun is fortitude, so go for that and go for the jobs. And you will get there. You will get there. There's no two ways about it. Now, I want to tell you that I want to give you a piece of good news, a piece of bad news, and two pieces of good news again. So the really good news is that you have done incredibly well. You've got your degrees now. And that will really set you up incredibly well for the workplace. You have all the skills, you have all the knowledge you need for the work that you're going into. And we're very proud that our jobs are very well respected by industry. And that's why our graduates get jobs at a higher rate than just about any other university. That's the good news. The bad news is all of that knowledge and all of those skills is going to be redundant before long. Nothing of it's going to be any good. It's going to be useless. And I know that firsthand, and let me tell you how I know that firsthand. As I said, I was a radiographer many years ago. I started as a radiographer. But some of you I know are qualifying in medical imaging. Those that don't, let me describe it. Breathe in, hold it. The good ones always remember to tell the patients breathe on, but I wasn't a good one. That's why I went into teaching. But many years later, I went into education, and then we started a medical imaging degree here. And I thought, I'd like to teach into that. I'd like to get back into teaching, because vice-chancellors, basically what we do, we move papers from one side of the desk to the other, and then back again. And then they get out of date, we put them in the bins. That's in the job description. But I thought, how good would it be to get back into teaching? Because I used to teach radiography. So I gave Caroline Falcone, who's there a call and said, can I teach into your medical imaging degree? And she did sound a bit worried, actually, as she answered. And she said, yeah, what do you know? And I said, well, the two things that I really do know really well is neuroradiography and, all the specialised views in the skull, all the angles, how you angle down and across, how you can see these small foramina and these small canals in the brain and in the skull. I'm really good at that. And there was a silence. And she said, well, we don't do any of that anymore. We've got something, you may have heard it, called a CT scanner. And we put the patient in a CT scanner. I didn't tell her, but I hadn't heard of that. But anyway, so I said, don't worry, Caroline. I am a mine of knowledge. There are many, many things I know about. I know about medical, I can't remember what it was called. That's how much I know about it. I know about imaging photography. I know all about how you develop films and fix films and do all of that. I know all the chemistry that's used. When I was a radiographer, we quite often did wet developing, stick it in the developer, then stick it in the fixer, then give it a wash, then dry it. She said, well, actually, we don't do any of that anymore. In fact, I don't even remember ever doing any of that. We have something now called digital imaging, and in fact, it's all done digital imaging. So literally all of my knowledge base that I learnt when I was in your seats is now redundant. Absolutely redundant. And the really bad news, with the rate of change in the world, yours will be redundant as well. Sorry about that. Thanks for paying your fees. But it's redundant. Let me finish on two good pieces of news now that you're all depressed. Two good pieces of news. The really good piece of news is that we have given you learning skills. And that, you probably don't realise it, is the best gift that we could give you. Not all of that knowledge that we've crammed in your brains to do the job tomorrow, but the generic skills that we have crammed into your brains very quietly that you're going to use in 10 years' time. The skills that you'll need to update all of your knowledge, to keep up to date, to keep ahead in your professions. That's really what being a graduate's all about. It's not knowing all of those maths formulas. It's actually having the skills to carry on learning throughout your careers. So that is really important. The other really great news is even if you feel that you're a bit out of date at the moment, we've got a recruiter outside that can sign you up for a master's degree, a PhD, very reasonable rates, and keep that skill up to date. So two really good pieces of news. Look, I think your achievements are fantastic. I do just want to mention one thing before I sit down. A lot of our students and staff at this university come from Nepal, and we know of the terrible events in Nepal. And we are thinking a lot about our students and our staff from Nepal and our graduates that have gone back to Nepal. The university, and when we say the university, we mean all of you guys. This is a university that prides itself on being engaged and giving back. Immediately we heard of the disaster, we have dispatched $10,000 worth of shelter boxes. These things will give shelter, food, water, cooking equipment for 10 people, so that's 100 people that we're helping out, and we're looking at where we go from now to help Nepal out more. And you might think, well, that's okay, but 100 people, that's not many people when we've got literally millions of people affected over there. And I think there's something that you can learn from that story. You can actually, in the face of tragedies like that, or everything we see in the world, you can actually just give up and say, well, we can't make any difference. And sending, these shelter boxes is only going to, help 100 people. It's not going to make any difference. Well, let me tell you, for every one of those 100 people sleeping in those tents and shelters that we've sent out, we've made a big difference. And I want you to learn a story from that. You may see big problems, absolutely massive problems as you go out into the world, and you might think these problems are way too big. I'm never going to make a difference. Just start by making a difference to one person. Use your skills that you've learnt through your degrees to make a difference to one person. That's all that matters. And that's what we try and do as a university, and that's what we hope you do as graduates. Look, have an absolutely fantastic day. Don't get too drunk tonight. And we'll see you when you come back for your Masters, PhDs, or come and work for us. Thank you.
I now invite the Chancellor to introduce the guest speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, Dr. Anne Quinton. Anne is the President of the Australasian Sonographers Association. In 2013, she was awarded the Prue Pratton Memorial Award for Sonographer Achievement and was the Australasian Sonographers Association Sonographer of the Year. Anne is a senior sonographer at the Nepean Centre for Perinatal Care at Nepean Hospital and a research fellow with the University of Sydney. She began working as a nuclear medicine technologist, developed an interest in ultrasound and later trained as a sonographer. Anne has worked for many years in fetal medicine units, performing high-risk obstetric ultrasounds. She's involved in a number of research projects and supervises students in ultrasound and research. Has a passion for research and knowledge saw Anne concurrently map out a career as a researcher with research interests in she'll tell us when she comes up, eclampsia, obesity in pregnancy and fetal growth. Anne has published papers and presented on pregnancy ultrasound and research at many conferences, both nationally and internationally. Anne currently trains ultrasound students in clinical skills, supervises research masters and PhD students, and teaches medical students about evidence-based medicine. She is currently undertaking a graduate certificate in education. Anne is the president of the Australasian Sonographers Association and is on the editorial board for the peer-reviewed journal Sonography. Please join me in welcoming Anne Quinton.
Thank you. Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to congratulate all you graduates for completing your studies. What a fantastic achievement and a very special day for you and your families. I know when I achieved my first qualification, I thought, great, that's it, I'm finished. I also thought I knew everything there was about what I needed to do my job. What I've realised, and it has taken me many years to come to that realisation, is that life and education are a journey, and getting that first qualification is the start of that journey. I have learnt that what an education does for you is teaches you to journey, teaches you how to search for answers, and hopefully it has engendered in you a lifelong love of learning. You will probably want a break from your studies right now, have had enough of assignments, deadlines, and exams, but hopefully in a while, it may be a few years or 10 years, you think, I wouldn't mind learning something new. This new thing may be related to your current job, or it may lead you on a new path, a new journey. Just remember, as the science fiction writer Ursula Le Guin said, it is good to have an end to journey towards, but it is the journey that matters in the end. In my journey through life, every few years I get the desire to go back to studying. After each qualification I attain, I say to my long-suffering husband, that's it, I'm not doing that again, I promise that's the final degree. I'm finished. Remind me if I say I want to study again what I've said, how I've longed for free nights and free weekends. He, like all wise men, just ignores me. Having pondered on why someone keeps learning, I've come to the conclusion that studying is like childbirth. When the labour pains start, you think, what the hell am I doing this for? I want to bail out. But with studying and childbirth, you're swept along like being in a tsunami, caught in the moment and the inevitability of the journey. What you get in the end is precious. That may be your life, a new life, or a ticket to a new life, which is what an education and resulting qualification can deliver. The memory of the pain and hard work fades, and you just remember the joy of the journey and the pleasure of the achievement. I began my journey with a TAFE certificate in nuclear medicine technology. At that time, it comprised of going to work full-time and attending lectures 1 day and 4 nights a week for 3 years. This was hard work, but as an 18 to 20-year-old, I managed that and a very full social life. It helped that the TAFE was in the heart of Sydney. TAFE was great fun. It gave me practical facts and skills to perform the career that I had chosen and provided a great basis for my future studies. I worked in nuclear medicine full-time and then part-time for about 10 years and had a few children along the way. After being rostered to work in the new field of ultrasound, I developed an interest in that. To tell you the truth, I was thrown in kicking and screaming with no choice in the matter. To quote, "We need someone to learn ultrasound, and that someone is you." Ultrasound is an extraordinarily hard skill to master, and it was especially so back in the 1980s when it was basically teach yourself. I gradually developed a love of that work and decided I needed some formal education in the subject. After all, there's only so much you can teach yourself. So back to TAFE, and after another 12 months of studying, I obtained a graduate certificate in ultrasound. I gradually moved to working just in ultrasound, first in the nuclear medicine department and then in a radiology department. My interest in ultrasound grew and I decided that I'd like to increase my knowledge, especially in obstetric and gynecology ultrasound. So I applied for a job in, at the time, the only dedicated perinatal ultrasound unit in Sydney. This was a full-time job, and with 5 young children, I had to think long and hard about whether to take it. As it was a learning opportunity too good to miss, and with the support of my husband, who after all would have to look after the 5 children, I accepted the position and travelled 45 kilometres each way to work. At the same time, I applied for a position in the graduate diploma in ultrasound course at the University of Sydney. I was told there was a waiting list of around 2 to 3 years for a place, so I thought, okay, good. All my children will be in school, life will be so much easier then, and I'll be able to cope. Of course, life is not so easy, and I was offered a university placement with no option of deferment at the same time as starting the new job. Of course, I accepted. Looking back, I don't know how I or my family coped, but you do. I paid someone to clean the house, I didn't read a novel or watch television for 2 years, and my children stopped calling me mum because I was focused on studying and wouldn't answer them, and they started calling me Anne because that got my attention. They quickly worked out that it was hard work and we all coped in the end. Although my youngest daughter, who now herself has 3 university degrees, still calls herself poor forgotten what's-her-name. And along the way, I discovered a love for higher education and learning. I've always had a love of learning, but this university degree taught me to value more than the acquisition of facts. It taught me, as Professor Paul Ramsden has written about so eloquently in his work, to value higher level knowledge, that is the ability to analyse, understand, interpret and appreciate the significance of learning. University education has also taught me the importance of self-critical awareness, that is realising what you do and do not know, and it gave me the desire and willingness to inquire, to find out more. Along the way, I also developed a love of research, and with some mentoring did a small research project. Presenting this research at a conference won me a prize of $3,000. I decided to use that money to help pay part of the fees to upgrade my TAFE nuclear medicine qualifications to a bachelor's degree in medical radiation science. I had by this time changed jobs and moved back closer to home and was working in a fetal medicine unit with maternal fetal medicine specialists, midwives, and teaching trainee doctors and midwives to do ultrasound, as well as scanning sick pregnant women and their sick fetuses. It was and still is very rewarding work. Because of my interest in research, and because I needed a new challenge, as you can see I'm easily bored, I enrolled in a master's degree in applied science, where I studied research methods, techniques, statistics and epidemiology, and completed another research project. I learnt a really important lesson doing this project, which is if you're willing to work hard and do some research, then your workplace and or the university will sponsor you to travel to conferences to present that work. This means I've travelled all over Australia and around the world presenting my research. Last year, for example, I travelled to Adelaide, Brisbane, Melbourne, Banff in Canada, Barcelona in Spain and Queenstown in New Zealand. Studying can help you see the world. In 2011, I graduated from the University of Sydney again, this time with a PhD in medicine. If anyone really knew what was involved in doing a PhD, I don't think anyone would start it. So my advice to you is go in blind, and if you're thinking of doing a PhD, just do it because it is a great experience. My other piece of advice is usually you need to learn a new skill to do a research PhD, and that often involves having to visit the world expert in the technique you need to master. Everyone else I knew who was enrolled in a PhD at that time got to travel to London, Paris or Vancouver. I got to go to Newtown in Sydney twice. So make sure your world expert is somewhere exotic or interesting. Seriously though, it was a wonderful journey. I learnt many new skills, including how to learn how to ask the right question, critical thinking skills, presentation and writing skills. I now mentor master and PhD students, teach medical students and continue to teach sonography students and trainee obstetric doctors ultrasound skills. I thought my education journey was finished. However, because I have been teaching, I decided to apply for an education scholarship because at the end of the day, I want to do the best job I can. I was awarded $10,000 to study for a graduate certificate in education studies this year. This has been another learning experience. First of all, I had to learn the language of educators. Then they ask you to write about how you feel. I mean, really, I'm a scientist. Nobody cares how I feel. Before doing this degree, they only wanted to know what I know. Albert Einstein said, "Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value." Life is not just about seeing what benefits you. Part of life's journey is about giving back to society. This can be done by you doing the best you can in your chosen profession, but by giving of your time and talent and by volunteering your time. The degree of personal growth you can achieve by volunteering will amaze you. You will inspire yourself, colleagues and friends, and you will grow, develop and change. You will meet amazing people and make wonderful new friends. You don't need to give up your paid work and live in poverty overseas. Volunteering can be as simple as volunteering to collect bread on a Friday night with your local charity, coaching the local kids at sport, or volunteering for your professional association. Ask yourself, what are you passionate about? What excites you? Is it research, helping people, the search for knowledge, teaching or completing your personal goals? What is your goal in life? Is it making a difference or being the difference? You can make a difference and you can be the difference. Your journey is just beginning. Make a difference to your family, your workplace, your profession, to your life. To quote Mark Twain, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the things you did do. So throw off the bow lines, sail away from a safe harbour, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Quinton. Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to present to you a musical performance by two of our graduating students studying our CQUniversity's Bachelor of Theatre, Musical Theatre program, Molly Rosetto and Yasmin Lancini.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good. It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime, so let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You be with me like a handprint on my heart, and now whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend, like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good. And just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I've done you blame me for. But then I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better. And because I knew you, because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
Thank you, ladies. I now call upon the Vice-Chancellor and President, Professor Scott Bowman, to present the graduates.
Will all graduates please stand and smile? Chancellor, as Vice-Chancellor and President, I certify to you and to Council that these graduates standing before you today have fulfilled the requirements prescribed by the University, and I ask that you present them with their respective awards.
In the name of the Council and by my authority as Chancellor, I'm delighted to present our newest graduates with their awards. Ladies and gentlemen, please honour them with your applause.
Will all graduates please be seated?
Chancellor, I call upon the Dean of School of Business and Law, Professor Lee D'Amelia, to present graduates from undergraduate programs.
Chancellor, I present graduates from undergraduate programs. Certificate 4 in Fitness, Melissa Louise Woods. Diploma of Business, Wendy Catherine Bately. Christine Lee Franklin. Diploma of Business Administration, Hee Long Ha. Diploma of Management, Catherine Ann Cash. Associate Degree of Community Welfare, Mariki Asher Worth. Bachelor of Accounting, Noel John Barnes. Andrew David Faria. Jennifer Suzanne Hickey. Courtney Ann Kennedy. Leanne Colleen Leach. Shana Marie Oliver Hargraves. Leanne Catherine Weeks. Bachelor of Accounting with Distinction, Natasha Christine Page. Christopher Anthony Shembry. Sarah Marie Stiplovsek, sorry. Bachelor of Arts, Eleanor Linda Malsiewski. Bachelor of Business Management with Distinction, Fiona Cheryl Brown. Bachelor of Business Marketing, Huan Tran Trin. Bachelor of Business Procurement and Supply, Patrick Francis Morton. Bachelor of Exercise and Sports Sciences, Janice Leanne Condon. Bachelor of Exercise and Sports Sciences with Distinction, Sherry Ann Smith. Bachelor of Information Systems, Ross Geach. Bachelor of Learning Design, Celeste Charisse Corowa. Bachelor of Learning Management, Early Childhood Education, Renee Elizabeth Lewis Benson. Emily Marie Langley. Amy Jean Provigilio. Rebecca Joy Savage. Was that our first candidate for a trip, perhaps? Bachelor of Learning Management, Early Childhood Education with Distinction, Simone Bell. Abigail Torian Coleman. Lisa Elliston. Bachelor of Learning Management, Primary Education, Cassandra Antonia Adder. Bridie Helen Chataway. Ashley Regan Cox. Monica Ann Dixon. Belinda Collette Fountain. Shannon Lee Knight. Sarah Elise Lade. Emma Christine Martin. Erica Natalie Smith. Bachelor of Learning Management, Primary Education with Distinction, Monique Bethel. Twain van der Woesten. Lucy Wood. Bachelor of Learning Management, Secondary and Vocational Education and Training, Tasha Suzanne Button. Samantha Claire Nutt. Rochelle Ann Powell. Alexandra Linton Proctor. Paul Allen Richardson. Lisa May Stiplovsek. Tanisha Lee Tomine. Bachelor of Medical Imaging, Trent Gary Bell. Olivia Ann Blake. Linnell Marie Fallon. Hee Yun Moon. Jake Christopher Perry. Xiao Qingji. Bachelor of Medical Imaging with Distinction, Alison Joan England. Demi Clee List. Tracy Lee Milsom. Jamie Scott. Rebecca Ann Simons. Bachelor of Multimedia Studies, Daniel Andrew Burke. Gemma Elizabeth Rose Smith. Hayley Marie Wellings. Bachelor of Multimedia Studies with Distinction, Rachel Kate Brand. Tony Francis Pedder. Bachelor of Music, Music Studies, Sarah Jade Langtree. Bachelor of Nursing, Natalie Marie Adams. Madison Janice Bailey. Amanda Laurel Bavero. Sarah Ann Broughton. Joanne Mary Kavanagh. Samantha Jo Connolly. Michaela Louise Crawley. Matthew N. Kerr. Elise Brianna Davey. Shani Marie Dolphin. Jacinta Lee Eddy. Maria Kristen Jane Astoria. Sheila May Estoria. Leo Anthony Fitzgerald. Isabella Francesca Fligo Peter. Jamie Lee Geeney. Stephanie Ann Goody. Tegan Holland. Danielle Faye Kauschke. Gina Frances Lawn. Ian Neville Little. Christy Lee Marias. Lara McDowell. Annalise Margaret Moore. Helen Nengasha. Megan Courtney Jane Neville. Tracy Joy O'Sullivan. Casey Timms Porter. Kayleen Barrow Richards. Lucinda May Rutland. Georgia Catherine Stridham. Linda Annette Williscroft. Emma Louise Winden. Lisa Jane Zonta. Bachelor of Nursing with Distinction, Nicole Ann Beckingham. Victoria Lee Dar. Deborah Sonia Edwards. Sonia Rebecca Glendinning. Amy Ellen Grant. Kylie Marie Hobley. Thank you. Teresa May Shembry. Misty Lee Stewart. Umbre Tace Sweeney. Lisa Diane Taylor. Bachelor of Oral Health, Ashley Jade Lilly. Bachelor of Professional Communication, Alana Jade Brake. Bachelor of Science, Chiropractic, Melissa Pope. Ashley Renee Thomas. Georgia Lauren Tullock. Bachelor of Science, Psychology, Christy Lee Floor. Nicole Michelle Horsford. Bachelor of Theatre, Musical Theatre, Jacob Lachlan Barn. Bachelor of Theatre, Musical Theatre with Distinction, Molly Jane Rosetto. Yasmin Renee Lancini. Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Business Marketing, Taryn Delaray. Bachelor of Medical Sonography and Graduate Diploma of Medical Sonography, Marita Kylie Casella. Jacqueline Lacey Roots. Bachelor of Medical Sonography and Graduate Diploma of Medical Sonography with distinction, Hannah Karina Austin. Bachelor of Theatre with Honours, Hannah Coral Barn. Bachelor of Psychology with Honours, Cody Bolus. Deanne Margaret Finato. Amber Judith Hanson. Leanne Dorothy Jones. Amy May Wust. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from undergraduate programs.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to present to you another musical performance by all of our Conservatorium of Music students. Thank you.
Chancellor, distinguished guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, we are the Con Singers, and we would like to perform two pieces for you this afternoon. The first is a freedom song, which was written for the release of Nelson Mandela. It is Roly Roly Hla Hla Mandela, and the idea behind it was, you're going out into the world with such potential, and we wanted you to feel as free as possible. The second one is a Michael Bublé hit called Everything, and we hope that you enjoy these numbers as much as we do.
A big thank you to our talented students and staff of the Conservatorium of Music. I again call upon Dean of School for Business and Law, Professor Lee D'Amelia, to present graduates from postgraduate programs.
Chancellor, I present to you graduates from postgraduate programs. Graduate Certificate in Asset and Maintenance Management, Tim Brough. Graduate Certificate in Education, Serene Swart. Graduate Certificate in Management, Linda Gay Burke. Leanne Williams. Graduate Diploma of Learning and Teaching Secondary, Lindsay Emma Haynes. Glenn Marshall. Graduate Diploma of Learning and Teaching, Secondary with Distinction, Meredith Elizabeth Farquhar. Graduate Diploma of Professional Accounting with Distinction, Emily Jane Hall. Graduate Diploma of Psychology, Ruth Audrey Ann Feidler. Master of Business Administration, Occupational Health and Safety, Carissa Ann Mansfield. Master of Business Administration, Project Management and Infrastructure and Resources, with Distinction, Shwantanak Ranjan. Master of Clinical Practice with Distinction, Martin Richard Hanna. Master of Clinical Practice, Gerontological Nursing with Distinction, Eleanor Hanna. Master of Creative Enterprise, Arts Administration, Sholakan Pasitwira. Pianet Patkam. Master of Creative Enterprise, Arts Administration with Distinction, Sudapa Unthanavapal. Master of Health Science, Ruth Pape. Master of Information Systems, Bhavita Mika. Master of Mental Health Nursing, Maguchiara Chakonda Mita. Master of Professional Accounting, Shudrashan Upriti. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from postgraduate programs.
Chancellor, I call upon Professor Bronwyn Fredericks, Pro Vice-Chancellor Indigenous Engagement and BMA Chair in Indigenous Engagement, to present doctoral graduates.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you the following doctoral graduate. This candidate has undertaken a program of supervised research and study which has made a significant original contribution to knowledge. This qualification is highly regarded achievement where the candidate has demonstrated highly specialised knowledge through thesis dissertation. Doctoral programs may be undertaken in many disciplines, and only high calibre candidates and graduates who have demonstrated academic merit may obtain this award. Research is an integral part of CQUniversity Australia's purpose. We have a strong commitment to the conduct of cutting-edge research in new areas which challenge the boundaries of the traditional disciplines to provide distinctive research solutions with regional, national and international benefit. As a past doctoral candidate and graduate of CQUniversity, it's really my pleasure today to present Yufeng Lin for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I made mention of that past graduate because I also wear the blue gown like Yufeng Lin will be coming across the stage in today. Yufeng's thesis title is Event-Triggered Control and Filtering for Network Systems Based on Network Dynamics. This research investigated control and filtering of network systems based on network dynamics. By using event-triggered schemes and a fluid flow model, an information scheduling middleware was established. Based on this middleware, stability criteria were derived, controller and filter design methods were proposed to preserve the desired performance of network systems. Dr. Yufeng Lin. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of doctoral graduates.
I call upon the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Engagement, Campuses and Mackay Whitsunday Region to present the Associate Vice-Chancellor's Leadership Award.
Chancellor, it's my honour for me to present the winner of the Associate Vice-Chancellor's Leadership Medal. This medal recognises a student who has demonstrated a combination of the following: a strong commitment to their studies, the ability to respond to challenges, a capacity to act as mentors to other students, a willingness to contribute to the life of the campus, outstanding potential for significant leadership in their future careers, clear commitment to the value of cultural diversity, and creative talent and enterprise. To receive the Associate Vice-Chancellor's Campus Medal for her outstanding performance in the Bachelor of Theatre, Musical Theatre, I present Jasmine Lancini. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of the Associate Vice-Chancellor's Leadership Medal.
I now call upon Ms. Danielle Korschke to deliver the response by the graduate's representative.
Chancellor, Mr. Rennie Fischke, Vice-Chancellor, Professor Scott Bowman, ladies, gentlemen, and importantly, my fellow graduates, I am honoured to be speaking on behalf of the graduating students here today. Firstly, I would like to thank our guest speaker, Dr. Anne Quinton, for your words today. I am sure we can all take something away on the next stage of our journey. So today, I would like to present to you a gift on behalf of all the graduating students. We are gathered here today to celebrate the ambition we all once shared in commencing our degree. Attending university is a choice to push yourself, to dream big, and ultimately to become all you want to be. Commitment, sacrifice, and a willingness to never give up are fundamental building blocks to achieve success at a tertiary level. That said, I believe I can speak on behalf of many of us when I say it has not been an easy journey. I know for myself I can identify numerous times when I felt discouraged and questioned whether it was all worth it. The stress, the anxiety, and the disappointment fueled this discouragement and caused me to reconsider the direction my life was taking on many occasions. Thankfully, CQUniversity offers many opportunities for practical placements, with these positive experiences confirming my decision to preserve and obtain my dream of gaining a Bachelor of Nursing. University not only teaches us how to strive for academic success, but it also teaches us valuable life skills and provides an amazing opportunity to learn more about who we are and what we are capable of. One of these opportunities arose in my second year of study, where, through CQUniversity, I was able to travel to Nepal to participate in a volunteer humanitarian trip. It was during this time I experienced the harsh reality of working in a third world country, where poverty dictates healthcare and what we discern as basic necessities for survival is considered a luxury. The appreciation and respect we were shown as nurses in training whilst in Nepal will stay with me forever. And the nursing experience I obtained has only further fueled my passion and love for my chosen career. Nursing is a cultured profession, and whilst it is constantly evolving as evidence-based practice continues to develop, the fundamentals remain the same. Florence Nightingale is considered a legend, as you could say, in the realm of nursing. It was her ambition and love for humanity that has advanced nursing into the widely respected profession it is today. CQUniversity has not only taught us the skills and knowledge needed to become safe and competent practitioners, but it has taught the fundamental characteristics of a good nurse. I would like to take this time now to thank my peers, because without teamwork and supporting one another, I can honestly say I wouldn't be standing here today. On behalf of all the graduating students, I would also like to thank our professors. Your endless wisdom and passion for mentoring has greatly contributed to our success. We thank you for answering the endless questions, emails and phone calls, and the time taken to provide feedback on assignments and exams. To all other CQ University staff, we thank you for your time, direction, and positive attitudes. To family and friends, we thank you for your support and patience, for without it, we wouldn't be where we are today. I would personally like to take this opportunity to thank my parents and my incredible husband for all that they have given me and the love and patience that they have shown me, even when I was having a meltdown. Lastly, I just wanted to say that we are the future of our chosen profession. Our love and our passion for our careers will now direct outcomes, and may we all continue to shine and be proud of what we have achieved. Thank you and enjoy your afternoon.
Thank you, Danielle. I ask the Chancellor to deliver the charge to graduates.
I ask all new graduates to please stand. As newly conferred graduates of the university, it's at this stage in proceedings that we conduct the traditional turning of the tassel ceremony. So would you now move the tassels from the right-hand side of your mortarboard to the left, please? That looks a lot better. Congratulations. I charge you as graduates of CQUniversity Australia to maintain a commitment to lifelong learning, to strive for truth, integrity and compassion, to contribute to your chosen professions, and by the application of your abilities to support and nurture the communities of which you are a part. May your rewards bring honour to your university, your profession and to yourselves. Good luck. Just before you sit down, I'll ask you to turn around and face all your family and supporters, and you give them a clap for helping you along the way. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the ceremony. On behalf of the Chancellor, members of the University Council and CQUniversity Mackay staff, I would like to thank you for attending and invite you to join us for refreshments following the ceremony. I ask you to please stand while the official party retires.